So we start off with two brothers, Riley and Yancey. These two are suiting up to pilot a Jaeger. These robots that were built to fight kaiju. Speaking of kaijus, a level 3 just spawned, so it's time to get active. It attempts to attack this boat with like 10 people on it, but Gipsy Danger pulls up at the last second, picking them up. Yeah, all of these niggas better go home and thank God they lived to see another day, because if they had pulled up even a second later than they did, these boys would have been a kaiju feast. They ready their stands, then put the ship down as Knifehead slashes at them. They proceed to hit Knifehead with the 3-piece right,
damn,
left,
damn,
then a charged overhead.
Damn!
Knifehead doesn't like this, so he lunges at them in retaliation, biting Gypsy's arm, but the pilots quickly lock in, knocking him off before grabbing him by the head, then charging up a plasma cannon to boom him 3 times. At the base, Idris Elba asks them what happened and why they disobeyed his orders. They just celebrate and brag about how they killed their first kaiju. You can see these motherfuckers cheesing hard as hell through their helmets. Unfortunately for them, however, that shit was less effective than Drewski eating a salad, and Knifehead is still alive. They try looking for him, but it doesn't take long, as he lunges at them again, clawing Gypsy's helmet, and they grab on him. Then Knifehead puts him on the bumpiest roller coaster ride of their life, and Riley says,
I got this! Man, you stupid bitch!
Yeah, this one line alone sealed their fate. This is more cap than when your teammate says they cracked the enemy shield and they're one-shot. Whole time Buddy's at full health, full shield with overshield at that. He tries to charge up a plasma cannon again, but Knifehead catches it and bites Gypsy's arm, and this got bro screaming in agony. Knifehead then proceeds to tear Gypsy's arm off entirely and leave it in the water, as if things weren't bad enough already. Knifehead breaks through the helmet, which is where the pilots are located, and you would have thought these niggas had personal beef, because when Yancey tries speaking to Riley, Knifehead abruptly interrupts him and grabs him, then tosses him to God knows where. RIP to Yancey though. One thing that I have to mention is that the way they pilot these Jaegers is through the drift, during which they become connected and can see into each other's minds and memories. This means Riley could experience every ounce of pain and fear that Yancey went through, and because they were connected to the drift when he died, he constantly feels these emotions.
That's rough, buddy.
Then Knifehead goes on the full offensive, turning Gypsy into scrap metal, but eventually Riley charges up his plasma cannon and booms him. Later on, we see Cherno Alpha, Crimson Typhoon, and Striker Eureka pulling up 3 deep to the first ever double breach. On top of that, both of these kaijus are level 4. Friendly reminder, Knifehead was level 3, and we saw how he was putting the beats on Gypsy, so this shit is serious. These motherfuckers pulled up cold as hell too, I can't even lie. I don't know what Power Rangers BS they was doing in the fan-made sequel, but this right here is beautiful. Crimson Typhoon notices movement from his right, and when he looks around to find the kaiju, we see Otachi rise up from the water, and I can't lie bro, it's chopped as hell. If I look like this, I'd be mad too. I don't know who looks worse, him, Yusuf, or Dabo. They might be tied. Otachi smacks him with his tail, sending them flying far as hell, and they crash into the water. Crimson shakes it off and they activate Thundercloud formation, transforming his hands into 3 buzzsaws. This shit low-key weak as hell, but I'ma let it slide if they put in work. They had me in the first half though, slashing at Otachi, taking away 1 HP at a time. He catches both of their arms and they do this dramatic ass animation just to flip him over. This was damn near a 10-second sequence just to do this. There had to be some more efficient way to achieve this goal. Otachi lands in the water, and before he even gets a chance to breathe, Cherno Alpha comes in with an elbow drop. Then they just start beating his ass, jab after jab. Otachi not letting it slide though, and he smacks him away with his tail. So Striker tells Idris Elba that they're moving in the hill. Like hell y'all are, y'all gonna sit y'all asses right there with that bomb on you. Copy. At the same time, Otachi starts going Crimson crazy, smacking him against the head before tearing it to his side. So Striker says, man, hell no, I ain't listening to nobody who can go follicle for follicle with KD. We spinning. Then Otachi rips out Typhoon, destroying the Jaeger and killing the pilots inside. Cherno Alpha, who is just space hating, decided that they gotta get some get back, and they start emoting for some reason. Then Otachi emotes too, and
oh hell no!
What is this? Why does this nigga have a ball sack where his chin should be? How did this thing manage to get even ugly? Anyways, he shoots acid at Cherno Alpha's cockpit and their systems are fried, so they request backup. Striker runs towards him, but as they're running, Otachi bites into Cherno's arm, then the second kaiju. Leatherback sneaks him and they jump Alpha. And I mean full-blown jumping before Otachi calls ISO with Striker. There was still no hope for Alpha because Leatherback tears through the helm, and that's 2 more pilots in front row at an MJ concert. Meanwhile, Striker lands a right on Otachi, then grabs his head. repeatedly punching him, then hitting him with an uppercut that sends him flying. Leatherback's greedy ass is still going crazy on out, completely submerging them in water, but that wasn't enough. He crushes the area where the pilots are located, and safe to say they are no longer with us. Meanwhile, Striker is putting the beats on Otachi, even grabbing him and tossing him away. Striker loads up their missiles, but Otachi isn't going out like that, so he shoots out hella EMPs, which fry all of their systems except for one. Right before these two can become a kaiju appetizer, Gipsy Danger pulls up clean as hell, ready to give straight BCA to Leatherback, who charges at Gypsy. But they grab onto him, then hop on top of him and start tearing off something on his back. I think it's one of the things that were generating electricity, but hey, that's just me though. Then we got the cheerleader over here like he wasn't just hating on them approximately 30 minutes prior. Gypsy tears it off and Leatherback is very upset with this, so he gives him the meanest bear hug of all time before chucking them about 100 meters away. The most impressive part about this is how long these motherfuckers stayed in the air. Mind you, these Jaegers are 250 to 280 feet tall and weigh up to 2,400 tons. Damn near Dave Blunt size, and they stayed in the air for an entire 4 seconds before crashing into the bridge, then landing in a shipping yard. The fade is still in full force because Leatherback is already there. He emoting and everything. That's how you know he's confident. He starts running at them and come on bro, you know you too damn big to be doing all that. Matter of fact, I'm truly impressed by the speed of this giant monstrosity of a creature. Gypsy ain't ducking no type of smoke, so they start running towards Leatherback as well, and this is what I like to see. They leap into the air and land on him with a mean overhead from the heavens. Then Gypsy asserts his dominance by grabbing his head and rocking his shit. Then they uppercut him and activate the elbow rocket, which turned out just to be a strong ass punch, and that boy came crashing all the way down. He just starts grabbing shit to use as weapons and swing on Gypsy, and they fall to their knees. They like, Sue can play that game, and they grab some shipping containers which they use to rock his shit before doing a thunderclap right on bro's dome. His strong ass head breaks the container, so they like, we don't even need weapons, and they hit him with the left hook that makes his body do a complete 180. I'm not gonna hold you gang, that's kinda crazy. I'm just saying that me personally,
wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
While he's mid-recovery, bro tried to sneak in a little bite. They put his big ass in a full Nelson, then take 10 full seconds to complete the throw animation. Leatherback is mad and starts emoting before charging at Gypsy, pushing them back so they up the plasma cannon and boom his ass repeatedly. I kid you not, bro kept telling Shorty to empty the clip until they finally took off one of his arms, but they still don't stop. They keep shooting until they reach the edge and they're able to push Leatherback off. For safety measures, they boom bro again 5 more times in his heart and they get a clean flick. After this, they pull up on Otachi with the ship in hand as their equipped weapon, and this is kind of insane. I mean, I guess this is better than the damn lightsabers they had in the sequel. Gypsy walks that boy down clean as hell with a full force right swing, then a left swing, but that wasn't enough, so they make him eat 2 more. It took 4 swings for bro to finally adapt and catch the attack, then he snatches Gypsy's weapon and throws it across the city, which brings me into a very important question. What is up with these types of movies and attacking Hong Kong specifically? Like, I swear I've seen this city be destroyed in like 20 different movies by some kaiju. Exhibit A, Godzilla vs. Kong, where they left the city in irreversible property damage. The kaijus got multiversal beef with Hong Kong or something, cause this is ridiculous. Back to the movie though, this is millions of dollars and years worth of reconstruction, and it only gets worse. Otachi slaps Gypsy with his tail, which sends him crashing into the streets, and oh nah, this had to be a personal attack against this specific car because this was low-key out of pocket. Imagine being the owner of this vehicle and having to explain it to your insurance company. So what exactly happened to your vehicle, sir? So boom, a fucking Megazord and Godzilla wannabe were boxing and the Megazord crushed my V. Okay, Otachi dips and they try to chase after him, but they lose him and begin to search for a solid 30 seconds before bro shatters this entire building just to sneak Gypsy. Not only that, but the building he pins Gypsy to collapses as well. I'm not gonna lie though, getting your head moved in a place to get your shit rocked is beyond insane. I've seen some disrespectful moments, but I don't remember seeing this before. Then a highly aggressive left and bro genuinely gets to a point. Otachi leads Gypsy's attack and this causes him to clip the side of this building and then punches the entire building just to move a pendulum. That is hundreds of people who are unemployed now for the sake of moving that shit. It doesn't stop either, because Otachi grabs on the Gypsy and pins him to the building from before. Yeah, that property is done, then he proceeds to walk Gypsy through the entire building. This isn't even an exaggeration this time. They went from one side all the way to the other, then into the streets. Yeah, I pray for this town. Then Otachi tries to shoot abs at the Gypsy, but they weave that and would you look again, more property damage. Then Otachi hits an emote and Gypsy responds by putting their fists into his mouth, so Otachi wraps his tail around their other arm. Gypsy begins to struggle, so Rally tells Mako to activate the vent cooling, which completely freezes Otachi's tail. This allows him to crush it. Then they rip out his tongue as well, and this is where shit got crazy. Otachi jumps onto them and claws into their systems, and I kid you not, proceeds to grow fucking wings and turn into a dragon and start flying away with them. And because it's Hong Kong, he just had to air stomp them into this building just for shits and giggles. This wasn't an obstacle either. You can clearly see him do this shit on purpose. This is genuine beef. Then through another building, because the hundreds of millions of dollars they already have to spend isn't enough yet. He brings him closer and closer to the atmosphere, and Rally starts to lose hope because their oxygen is running low. Temperatures are dropping and both plasma cannons are fried. And I can't lie, if I was in this situation, I would have already acknowledged my fate. But Mako like, nah Jit, we got one more option, and deploys a sword from God knows where, and they use it to cut through Otachi. Now if you had this in your bag the entire time, why did you choose a damn shipping container instead of using this? Shaking my head. They plummet from 50,000 feet into the air and eventually land in a football field, of course clearing out a block in the process. Skipping to the end of the movie, Gypsy and Striker are pulling up to the breach with the goal of nuking that hoe. As they're about to dive in, two of the scientists in the movie pull up to tell them that the plan isn't gonna work. To simplify the science bullshit, they say, the only way to get into the breach is if it recognizes you as a kaiju, so they have to ride a kaiju into the breach to be able to get inside. To make things worse, for the first time, they're hit with a triple event, and the first ever level 5 kaiju pulls up at the same time. Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in, not gonna lie. It sounded like they need me in there. On bro, I'll handle that shit, no Jaeger required. The level 5 kaiju pulls up on Striker directly, and why these motherfuckers get more chopped as their levels get higher. Honestly, that's the scariest part about these niggas. Gypsy starts bullshitting, talking about, "Twin, we finna help y'all, just give us a moment, we on the way." Yeah, don't ever believe those words, cause niggas will really be like, "I'm on the way." Whole time they ain't even got out of bed yet. A kaiju sneaks up on them and they hit it twice before pinning him down. Then we see Striker get hit by the level 5 and they're sent flying. What had me though was the fact that they really just stood there, watching the spectacle with zero attempts at stopping the attack. They really just let it happen. Oh nah. Striker is down for the count and Gypsy is trying to finish a kill, but remember I told you this was a triple event. Yeah, the third kaiju comes in smooth as hell, fighting their arm off entirely with zero effort, I must add. The one they had pinned down attacks the other arm, and we get a shot of this creature effortlessly chopping on bro's arm. But what in the hell am I looking at right now? This motherfucker has buck teeth, 3 rays sticking out, 4 eyes, and it's downright hideous. This shit looks like a mutated lemur. Gypsy stabs bro in the head, but he's still moving, so they move him to the fire and he manages to escape. While they're trying to recover, the lemur from earlier returns, but this time they hold out the source of bro swims to his own death, getting sliced in half. Meanwhile, Striker is getting cooked, like badly at that, until they finally land an attack on bro's armpits. In desperation, he sends out a distress signal and the other kaiju starts rushing to the scene to jump Striker. Gypsy on 1 HP starts telling Striker that they finna pull up, but Idris Elba tells him to stay back because Gypsy is a nuclear reactor basically, so they have to go into the breach. We get a sentimental moment of Idris Elba telling Mako he'll miss her and that she got this, and the dickhead acknowledging his father, who's this dude, and he closes his eyes because he knows the sad reality of what's gonna happen. Then as the two kaijus approaching him, they hit the Vegeta final explosion so they could clear a path for Gypsy. Moment of silence for the fallen pilot. Filled with motivation, Gypsy grabs a piece of the dead kaiju and tells them they better be right about the shit they said earlier. Crippled, they walk towards the breach, but when they finally make it, the level 5 pulls up to stop them in their tracks, but this is exactly what they wanted. They activate their jets and tackle him into the breach, and this allows him to get in. There's one problem however. Mako's oxygen is running low, so he gives his oxygen to her and ejects her away. He carries out the rest alone, and due to system failures, he has to activate the self-destruction manually. Eventually, he activates the bomb, and right before it goes off, he ejects himself and Gipsy Danger explodes, collapsing the breach. The movie ends with Mako reuniting with Rally on the surface, and that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next vid. Peace.